An opinion matters to me if the person giving it matters.
17-year-old Stevie. What was his definition to success?
Then it was all about down to ego, all the superficiality, everything that you think comes with success.
Today's guest is a name every Maltese sports fan knows, but his story goes far beyond water polo. He's been Malta's #1 water polo player star for years. A player who's represented his country across Europe, played in Italy and Serbia, and carried Neptunes to glory season after season. From scoring against world champions to mentoring the next generation, his journey is more than just sports. It's about mindset, growth, and never setting the limit.
Because still, if someone is within the industry but doesn't know me personally, he's still judging.
Stevie Camilleri is here with us today to share his story, the highs,
Whatever I've achieved through my own hard work. I didn't cut any corners.
the lows,
I put my ego aside. I said, listen, I let the team down.
and the lessons from a lifetime in the deep end. What is one thing you are dealing with right now that's holding you back from achieving your goals?
Right now, the phase I'm going through right now, which is normal, is
Stevie, let's start right here today. I've seen your story, I've seen your articles, obviously preparing for this episode, and you're a very humble guy. You can say, am I right?
I'd like to think so, yes.
You're a very humble guy, and even the way you speak,
Mhm.
and you're very honest with things. There was a video where you stated that the mentality of this country, it's no hate or anything, but it's true that we don't like to exceed the limit when it comes to success, when it comes to anything.
Yes, it's what you're saying. I think it's affected by the fact that we are an island. We are limited as such. We are covered in water. Our size is very limited, but that doesn't mean that it should be determine our fate. In the sense, we can go over and beyond and reach out to higher limits.
Everyone sees the medals, the highlights, the ups, the history of Stevie. But
Mhm.
if we are to ask anyone who's watching this episode currently if they want your life during your hardest times, probably 90% would have said no. What do you think about that?
I think 90% is possibly shooting low.
Low?
No, it's not easy. There are a lot of struggles. The life of an athlete is nice in certain aspects and very demanding in others. For the reasons we've already mentioned, there are a lot of limitations that you have to come personally. There isn't some blueprint. So yes, people might struggle and stop midway or not even start. But I'm here to hopefully enlighten people and say, listen, yes, it is tough, but it doesn't mean you can't go get over the struggles.
What I love about sports is very simple. Every athlete passes through the same thing when it comes to emotions, when it comes to struggles, injuries, all these different aspects. So you can't say football has one thing and mentally has another, so it all combines together. So everyone can relate to this type of videos and to these type of episodes, which I really like, Today's questions are more on your story,
Okay.
how you built your journey to succeed at a very young age, and it's honestly very impressive that I came to know that you entered the squad of Neptunes at just the age of 15.
Mhm.
Not easy, huh? Not easy.
No, it wasn't easy. The club at the time was going through a very difficult period.
In what way, if I may ask?
They hadn't won the league. I mean, Neptunes, when you think about Neptunes, you're thinking about one of the more successful teams in water polo. But at that stage, you had gone through a long period of not winning, coming second, coming third. So the environment wasn't the best. But the positive to that was that there was a need for change. So introducing younger players, bringing new motivation, bringing new energy, and that's what led me into the squad at a very early age. I don't think I was ready. Looking back, I was very immature, especially now as I've arrived now at a veteran, so to speak, I can look back and say, listen, I was very lucky to have teammates who were there, who supported me and put up with me. But then from then on, it was all I'd like to think I paid them back.
Exactly. Possibly, not possibly, it's a fact that you've never signed for another Maltese club.
No. Sort of one of the ideas I had, dreams, call them whatever, was that I like the aspect of being a one-man team, in the sense that throughout my career, I started with a squad and finished with a squad. I always like that idea. There have been times where I've doubted whether, I should move to another side, and there were possibilities. There were a lot of possibilities. But I always went back to that original idea of, like we said, they were going through a hard time, and I wanted to get them to the top and keep them at the top. So I stayed true to that.
Loyalty. Not easy.
No, not easy.
When it comes to longevity, it's not easy for sure.
No, I mean, we're talking, and now I can say it openly, I'm 38 years old. We're speaking about 15, first getting into the squad at 15, a 23-year career. There are lots of ups, there are lots of downs, many challenges. Coaches come and go, teammates come and go. So it's not as if I played with the same team all throughout. So there were different circumstances that could have possibly pushed me to look for other motivation and other challenges. But I stuck it out, and it's something I'm proud of.
Listen, you mentioned a very important point in the very beginning of this conversation where you said, I was not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit me a bit because when you're starting anything in life,
Mm-hmm.
if it's business, if it's sports, if it's anything you want to start, I don't think you start ready.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you start not believing in yourself, to then have to believe in yourself in a way to act it out, to then succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm right and I explained it properly.
No, in the sense when I say I wasn't ready, I was a handful. In the sense, discipline wasn't my one of my strong points. I wasn't ready to form part of a team that had fixed objectives, that had a clear agenda, because at youths it's very much
Let's have fun and
have fun, let's enjoy it. We win, okay, I score so many goals, I'm happy with my game. We lose, okay, we'll think about next game. Whereas when you get to a first team setup, it's different. There are strict timelines, you have to show up to training on time, you have to be the last one, especially when you're young, the last one out. And these things weren't part of my character, in the sense I was very much, I based my game on ability, on talent, so to speak, and not discipline. So that's why when I say I wasn't ready with regards to that aspect, with regards to playing, quite honestly, I never really felt real pressure. Because even when I was then playing with the senior team at 15, it was still enjoyment and still fun and still want to show myself. I had to get used to all the rest, more than anything.
I see this a lot in water polo. I was a water polo player too, and you coached me too.
As well.
Which I'm sure you don't remember because you have a lot of kids under you.
Okay.
So.
Yes, I've been doing it for a while.
Exactly, that's another thing.
So
8 years ago?
It could possibly
8.
be. I've been doing it for more or less, I think, 10, 12 years.
If I find some pictures, I'll put it in the episode.
Yes, and that's another aspect of my career that I didn't think I would do, quite honestly.
Okay.
No, because again, I didn't enjoy the responsibility of it all, and now I'm sort of a mentor, a coach, and I have to instill a certain discipline amongst the youngsters, which is ironic if you think about it.
In Malta especially, and I know a lot of people who pass through the situation where at a young age you choose different sports.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not mistaken, you had played basketball as well.
A number of sports.
Exactly. Do you think it's a problem, or is it trying to find your niche at a young age then choose at an older age?
No, I think first of all I started sports more than anything. It was advice given to my parents, in the sense at a young age I was mischief, up to mischief all the time, very energetic, bouncing off the walls. And I remember, because I still remember, I had a teacher, we're talking about, I was 6 maybe, her name was Miss Cinzia.
Okay.
And she was a basketball coach. And she sort of, one of the first parent-teacher meetings, she sort of said, listen, this boy needs a certain level of discipline that it's very hard for you to give him, it's very hard for me, but he can possibly find it through sport. And at the time, my grandfather was president of Floriana Football Club, and I went into football. Not knowing, not enjoying, just for the sake of, movement tiring me out. I didn't enjoy it, I moved to an sport, which was basketball. Again, I stuck with it a while. The coaches weren't too happy, very indisciplined, disrupts everybody. I moved on to the next sport, and I found myself in swimming. And there, when you have your head in the water, it's very hard to distract other pupils, other children. So it was sort of a win-win for everyone. But again, I enjoyed it. I was good at it. I think that I was drawn to the water. But it wasn't, it didn't appeal to me as such, because it was your head down, swimming up, swimming down, too much routine. So I moved on to water polo, and I've stuck with it since.
At what age did you start?
I think I finished, at the beginning I did both, because the swimming season is more winter-based, and water polo was a summer sport at the time. So I think between 10 and 12 I did both. Around 12 I said, listen, I've had enough with swimming, I'm going to stick with water polo. I think part of the reason I did that was because the water polo season was shorter. So I fooled my parents into thinking, listen, this is the sport I want to do, but it was because I had to train a lot less.
You mentioned parents just now. Were they the people who were your mentors back then, who pushed you? Or was it a friend, maybe?
Into water polo?
No, just to be there, just to go.
Listen, I'm one of four children at home, so there wasn't much cheerleading and pushing, because, I mean, my father worked. My father's a medical doctor, so he was long hours. And my mother's at home taking care of 4 children. I don't think she had all the time in the world to stay behind me and say, listen, you know. So there's a lot of independence, a lot of encouragement. She dropped me off, picked me up, of course, but it was on my shoulders. Listen, you've chosen swimming, go, do it properly. You chose water polo now, make sure you're doing it properly. And I think it's that independence that gave me that extra gear, in the sense that from a very young age, I learned about responsibility, accountability, and it's something I carry with me to this day.
When you're 15, and the younger, so 15 downwards, it's a hobby. Let's not say 15, approximately 17 downwards. You consider it a hobby, as you said, let's have fun, let's go. If you win, you win, you lose, okay. But when a 17-year-old, let's say 15 in your case, goes up to a first team, as you said, it doesn't remain a hobby. No. So you have to, you're competing with people who are full-time in it. So you're going to school, water polo, go out with friends, okay, but they are full-time. Their life depends on results. Okay. When did you realize back then that no joking around, this is not a hobby anymore? What was the transition like? Not easy for sure.
Till today, I still consider it, I enjoy it, in the sense that I try as much as possible not to think of it as my job. Because I think when that happens, you sort of, it loses its appeal, and when it's not fun, you give less. I think the benefits of a sport is it being a passion. So you go the extra mile. With regards to then, I think I decided I'm going to do this as a profession, as a career, or for over a long span, very late. Because at the time I was still going to school, I was doing my O-levels, I sat for my O-levels, I sat for my A's, I got to university. So it was always secondary. And again, that was, I think, good for me. I think the step came where I realized, listen, I can set my bar a bit higher. I think it was an under-19 European Championships. It was in Malta. I didn't really have any objectives, and it was our first time, so it was very hard to set a goal. We took part. We did well. We finished 12th on 16th, but considering it was our first tournament, top 16 teams, it was a good result. And I finished that tournament second top scorer. And now when I look back, I still have the actual standings. And when I look back and see the names, the two name above me and the 2 names below me, these went on to win everything there is to win.
Like who? Would you like to mention names?
At the time, so in competing in the same tournament, there were players like Denis Varga, Pirlainović, Filipović. These are the best of the best. At the time, I didn't know this because I didn't really follow water polo. It was just fun. But still, I knew that, listen, if these are the ones that have just won gold medals and I'm there amongst them,
Makes sense.
I can lift the bar a bit higher. And I think after that tournament, I got a more important, we changed coach at Neptunes. He followed the tournament and said, listen, whereas up until this point, he's been a reserve or, one to give a few minutes here and there, I think possibly we should I wouldn't center the project around him, but give him
Invest
more,
in him.
get him a more important role, become a protagonist. And I did, and that's how I started. I was joined the first 7, which is the first 11 of football. I had a good season. And the coach sort of said, listen, I think you're ready for an experience abroad. I would recommend it. Yeah, you know, you're limited. The teams are limited. The players you play against are limited. You need to challenge yourself more. And I went to Italy for a trial with an A2 team. And there I realized, listen, I'm out of my depths. If I want to, I can do this because I have the ability, but I'm going to have to improve on everything else. So it didn't go well. They sat me down. They told me, listen, because I was still even small physically, I wasn't strong. I didn't invest. There was no investment. So I said, listen. So when I came back from then, I said, from now on, I'm going to gym work, land work is important. If I want to reach that level. If I don't, I'm comfortable where I am. It's fine. But if I'm going to aim at that high, it's right I invest in myself. And that's possibly the period where I realized, listen.
That's the click.
The sort of, let's put it into 5th gear and try.
So you think from that day onwards,
Mm-hmm.
did it help you reach where you want to reach in your career?
No. It was a wake-up call in the sense, there I realized it is a possibility, but there is the work, the hard work behind it. So I got into the gym. I think roughly, I'm looking back, I think I was under 80 kilos in a matter of a season and a half. I got to 90. And there...
Not easy, yeah?
No, not easy.
Big weight, yeah.
Very, very, very. There was a very qualified person working with Neptunes. At the time, Rose Gambin, passed away recently, who was a very important person to me. I mean, it's funny, because if you think it's not, no, she was at the time, she was almost, I think, close to her 60s. So you're a woman in the gym. It doesn't,
Yeah.
It doesn't really add up. But yes, I mean, one of the most important people by far, because she gave me the possibility and helped me and guided me and encouraged me. If I had to say who is the most person who supported, gave you that sense of encouragement over you, that's the person. And she was invested in it. Like, she'd take time of her own day. I mean, she had her husband to get home and prepare, but she'd be there any day of the week, honestly, any day of the week, any time of the day. She's there with you, by your side, encouraging you, giving you the support. And I think that was the framework, that was the base of everything
She
else.
passed away a few...
I think it's been a year and a half almost now.
Ah, close.
Very close.
So she saw your success.
She saw my success, yes. I mean, she was very proud. Close to the end, I was away at the time. I was playing it abroad. I couldn't physically be here, but we called, we FaceTimed, and I mean, I'm happy she got to see the end result, because I'm sure she was proud.
With regards to national team, focused a very important part where you came 3rd top scorer, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Which
European
was
Championships. Championships that you
in
mentioned.
in the B, because at the time, so this is going back early stages, there were 2 sections, almost as the run is now in football. So there was a section, European Section A, where the top 14 teams at the time competed.
Okay.
Then there was a Section B, where the next 14 competed. The top 2 would get into Section A and sort of...
Exactly. In
So
2007.
2007, this was a European B. Played
Exactly.
in Manchester. And yes, but quite honestly...
This was first team.
This was senior team.
Exactly.
Senior. I had been in the senior team for leading up to that tournament for about a year, because my first actual competition with the senior team was in 2007, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is this? No?
But January of that year. This
Okay.
was in June.
Okay.
So it was either end of 2006 or beginning 2007, which was the actual qualifiers to go into European A,
Makes sense.
which we didn't make, and we played European B.
3rd top scorer in this.
3rd top scorer. Quite honestly, I don't remember giving it much importance. I understand it is important, but the fact that I was competing in a European B wasn't, I wanted to get away. At that point, I was already considering, listen, I want to compete with the best. I'm not happy with the Section B. I want to be in the Section A.
But listen, third
No,
top scorer is actually
yes,
good.
and now I appreciate it because now I do, because now you look back, because it's third top scorer. But when you look at the top two, because there's a funny sequence. During that period, Serbia and Montenegro was the top team in Europe.
Okay.
During those years, they separated, so it became Serbia and Montenegro. Now Montenegro, to compete in Section A, had to get through Section B, and they were competing in that same tournament. So the top two scorers were these Montenegrins that had been playing with Serbia and Montenegro, playing world championships, but still, to me, it remained third and didn't remain, and still Section B. But now I appreciate it.
Exactly. You're competing against the
I was
top players
competing
in the
against
world.
Section A players, basically.
Can you consider them top in the world?
Who?
These two that you mentioned.
Two of amongst the top, yes, because funny enough, the next Europeans, Montenegro won the next Europeans, which was in 2008 in Malaga.
So they went through B.
B got to A
and they won
A in 2008 in Malaga. So yes, they were the best.
That's a really cool situation.
Sequence,
Really cool situation. That led on to you competing with the national team for 100 plus appearances, over 200 goals. Was it all about the pride or the expectation, in a way?
It's both. It's both. I mean, something I like to point out is I've always been my highest competitor, so to speak. I was always competing with myself, in the sense that I set my targets high, I set the bar high. So I wasn't subject to outside pressures. I was always subject to my own expectations and my own pressures. Even with regards to the national team, playing abroad, I didn't really suffer what other people had to say or what other people thought, because I was honestly always my worst critic. So there was nothing anyone that could, from the outside, say that could match it or be more relevant.
Last time we met, you said one important thing that I want to mention on this podcast. Each critic matters. It depends who it comes from.
Exactly.
Would like to elaborate on that?
No, I mean, it's something, obviously there are times when someone might say something, it might sting you. But I tend not to dwell on it, in the sense that, yes, an opinion matters to me if the person giving it matters. So if the person isn't relevant, anything he has to say can't be relevant.
Not matters. I think that's the wrong word, because it could be, obviously, a person who matters could be your mother, father, grandparents, brother, sister. It could be anyone who you love. But I think it matters from the people who actually made it and you look up to.
Yes and
in
no.
a way.
Yes and no, because
Okay.
I understand what you mean, in the sense that they are
They understand to a certain
enough informed, or within the industry or within the sports, they have the qualifications to give their opinion.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is no. The actual person has to matter to me, because still, if someone is within the industry but doesn't know me personally, he's still judging.
Okay.
Because he doesn't know the outside struggle. He might see our game, he might see the competition, but he doesn't know the build-up.
Makes
Whereas
sense.
the person who matters and would be more or less qualified because they've been on this sort of voyage with me. So some form of qualification there is, but they're not judging. They know the lead up, they know after the match how I reason, they know the work I put in. So if they have something good to say, I appreciate it. If they have something bad to say, I take it on board and see where I need to improve.
So I mentioned 5 things before. So mother, father, blah, blah, blah. The people who are relevant to you. It could be a coach, anyone who you see as mentoring, people who can help you. Now, I believe that this, when I say this, it means the mentoring situation, could be the learning curve to your success, I believe. So mentors can change your career forever. Okay, if it's a good way or a bad way. A coach can make you or destroy you, in my opinion.
I don't agree with that.
No?
No.
Elaborate.
Now this is something I've developed working with kids, and obviously my career. I think you can learn from everyone, in the sense. Now looking back, I can honestly say that coach was more prepared, that coach was less prepared. But when you get used to the fact that you have to put effort always, no matter who the person there on this pool side is whistling. So you have to be always there, concentrated, ready to give full effort. you learn to be sort of autopilot. In the sense, there's only so much he can say to make you push harder. So when you have a bad coach, I think it makes the struggle harder, so it makes you stronger. So when you come with a coach you actually enjoy and actually sort of have a good personal relationship with, and then everything, you do that, automatically do that extra step.
Let's not say coach though. It can be anyone.
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 Okay.
People in general.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying as well.
Yes.
You know?
No, because you get this a lot now, especially with the younger generation, where now the coach is too demanding, now the coach doesn't like me, he's picking on me, he's this, he's that and the other. It could possibly be. But wouldn't you learn more from accepting that challenge and overcoming it, rather than saying, listen, I've had enough of this coach, I want to go to a new squad, new team, whatever. Because then what happens, it becomes a preset excuse. So the next time I'm not playing well, no, it's not my fault. It's the coach is not playing me in the right position. So I never gave myself that opportunity to have that excuse. So the coach, I never put the coach in question. It was never, a factor that could determine my outcome. He could help me, or he could simply make things harder. But he's not going to stop me or limit me.
I think you answered my question that I was gonna come to. Okay. People are super important in our careers, in anything we do. We're starting a business, as I said earlier, starting a career. People are so important. That's why I was gonna ask you, how do you handle people? But I think
people in general.
Yeah.
Like we've said, I mean,
you answered it already,
we've answered it already. Yes, I mean, I'm my worst judge, like I've said, my worst critic. So I don't I try not to listen to any negative comments, because they're pointless. I mean, you just go around in circles, beat your head against the wall, and get nowhere. Positives, I don't like being complimented. I almost prefer a negative comment than to a compliment.
That's strange. Not strange.
No, it is strange. Honestly, I'm.
It's different. Not strange.
I get I become awkward in the sense I don't know how to respond to compliments, because I think, and I'll answer, I know, but now I've understood why.
All right.
Because I've always played with a chip on my shoulder. So playing abroad, I'm the Maltese. I've been always throughout my career. So I've played 16 years in Italy. 12 at the very top division and 4 in the second division, and I've got 2 promotions. So top level, second division. But I think from year 1 till year 16, I was always the Maltese, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was always playing with that chip on my shoulder. And it was always that extra element of having to prove myself. From day 1 to year 16, which we're talking, I mean, we're saying roughly, 300 matches, so from match 1
possibly
to match
more.
Possibly more. But I played with that chip on my shoulder, saying, listen, I want to show I'm the best. I wouldn't go in the water saying I am the best. I go in the water saying I need to show I'm the best. So that's why I might react that way to compliments.
Makes sense. Now, related to what I said before, that people are so important to our career, there was one transfer Neptunes had done. Okay, now this changed possibly your career. I may pronounce his name wrongly, but correct me on this. Yeah. Vladimir Vujasinović.
Very wrong.
Very wrong.
That's a completely different person. No, his name is Vladimir Vujasinović.
Oh, no.
Okay, no worries.
Say how?
Vujasinović.
Okay, my bad.
We're speaking about...
completely wrong person.
No worries. So we're speaking about one of the very, very, very top. I mean, now he's retired, he's gone into coaching, he's coaching in Greece right now. But we are speaking, if you had to ask, of my generation for sure, name your top 3 players or top 5.
In the world, you're saying?
World, all time.
All time?
Because now he's stopped, yes. So if you had to ask whoever, mention your top 5 all time, I'm quite sure that 3/4 of the people will have him in the top 3 of the top 5.
So this is top level.
This was very top level. He came to play here because he took a break in the summer. he had a young child, so he wanted, because I'm going World Championships, Europe, you have your abroad, you'd have your long season, your long club season, then over the summer have like football. You have the Euros, have the World, have the Olympics, and it's a continuous cycle. So having a young child, I think he said, listen, I'll keep on training, want to keep, up the competitive aspect, but I want something a bit lighter, where I don't have to travel and have my family by my side. And he came to compete in the Summer League, and we had a very good season. We had a very good, so to speak, relationship, but even in the water. And at the end of that season, he told me, listen, again, a similar conversation to what I had previously had with the coach a year and a half before that. He told me, listen, the ability is there, the talent is there, but there are sort of stages you need to get to before you can consider this your full-time.
And this isn't just anyone.
No, this is not. But at the time, again, I was very, I don't even know, naive.
You can't say ego.
I wasn't intimidated at all. I mean, I'd have a conversation with him. Yes, you think so? Okay. Like even the fact
that... short, I like.
We'll try it, no problem. And we're talking about going to Serbia, how many years?
Top level.
Serbia, top level. But, I mean, a country,
very distant.
But besides that, forget, I would have to live in that country where that's the language barrier. There is everything. And I'm having a conversation. Yeah, yes, okay. As if it's, let's take a weekend abroad. See how, we're talking about a 6-month plan to work on my game to get me at the level I needed to be to do this full time. And I said, okay, yes. And as well, I was putting my studies aside.
Exactly, now it's...
But again, my parents gave me this sort of... always let me make my own choices. It was a very easy conversation. Listen, he proposed this. What do you think? Steve, you're putting your studies aside. It's Serbia. It's going to be hard. You've barely ever prepared anything to eat for yourself and all of this. You understand the challenge. And that was very, very superficial, yes. I mean, okay, yes. And I went.
Partizan, right?
Partizan, which was, even there again, you're talking about one of the most historic.
20 years old you were
I was 20 years old at the time. I think 19 turning 20. 20 years old.
I think it's quite a big signing.
No. But besides, what it was more than a signing, it was an agreement. Given his stature, he had a lot of influence. And the national team coach of the time of Serbia was also the coach of Partizan. So they had this relationship.
It can happen?
It happens occasionally. It doesn't happen often, but it happens occasionally. Because, again, Partizan at the time used to supply the national team with most of its players.
Makes sense.
So what they did was have like a young squad all year round competing on the go. So they play club level all together, get them in national team all together, and they're gaining experience. They're sort of fast-forwarding the process. So, again, I knew very little about water polo. I just enjoyed playing it. I didn't used to watch games abroad, didn't used to follow leagues. So I think that aspect helped me a lot, in the sense that I went there casually.
You're free, exactly.
I was there casually. So I'm playing alongside the very best young prospects of world of water polo. But I got into the water, I'd pass, I'd shoot with them. I wouldn't feel that pressure. So that helped me a lot. Because had I known, I would have possibly, you close, tighten up, you get a lot more nervous and make it a lot harder than it needs to be. But I got through it. I'm happy I did. It was challenging.
One story about...
One story.
A funny story.
No, recently, in fact, I was speaking to a Serbian friend of mine. We're speaking and I had a night out, so I went out.
Alone?
No, night out with teammates. And you're going to a sort of club, a nightclub. So it's considered Serbia's cold. We're talking sub-zero. But I said, we're going to be inside. So I went light, a t-shirt, the V-necks, the deep V-necks of the time, leather jacket, jeans, cut up and everything. And towards the end of the night, so we're saying 3, 4 in the morning, we're all outside, and quite honestly, I saw everyone a bit. I said, listen, I feel more comfortable catching a taxi home. I don't want to be driven. I catch a taxi home. Halfway through the journey, I say, listen, I'm hungry. I was really hungry. And, you know, when you're 20, you don't have much at the fridge. You know, and
Exactly.
I knew I was going to go home to
You'll
an
find nothing.
empty fridge. I said, I have to do something. And I knew that at the end of my road, there was like this really popular place. So whereas in Malta, you'd go to Champs after a night out, they have like this burger shack.
Mm.
So what it is, you know, but anyway, I thought him stop me here. We couldn't really communicate, so I tried telling him, listen, I'm going to go down, get what I need, wait for me here, keep the meter sort of running. It's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, there's practically snow on the floor. Wait for me, I'm coming. Now the thing is, you go in, and it's not easy. It's like the kebabs, you have to choose the items, like it's a real big burger. So I got there, there was a long line. I got to there, I got this giant burger, with this deep V-neck, and I get to there, and there's no taxi. I was like, what the hell am I going to do? You know, I'm in you know, people looking at you with this giant bag in your hand, and I knew I had like a 3-kilometer walk home.
Shit.
And I just did it. I mean, if I think back, I said, what the bloody hell, you know what I mean?
What time did you arrive?
I have no idea. I don't know how I arrived, let alone how, you know, what time. I don't know how I arrived, how I survived it. I'm telling you, snow on the floor, I'm walking through snow in sneakers. I got home, my feet all soggy. This burger, I mean, I didn't even end up eating it. It was too cold to eat outside, so I just threw it away at the end of the journey. But anyway, no, but I mean, that's part of it. I was so naive in these things. But
Yeah, these are funny stories, and some of them that I said in the last episode, I think that sometimes we tend to forget the funniest stories.
no,
Sometimes.
no, but yes. But
Just
looking
sad
back,
in a way.
Looking back, you say, well, how I've changed. I'd like to think I've changed. I would never, honestly, I'd go home hungry and sleep hungry. I would never stop. Had I go through it,
Yes.
would I go through the same experience now? I'd sleep hungry, as if I'm going to stop in the middle in the snow to buy a bag and walk home. No.
You spoke about Serie A a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so when you went from A to B and you spent a lot of time there,
Mm-hmm.
was that possibly, so you spent 16 years, you told me?
16 years out
So
there.
a big amount of years of
Most
your life.
of my adult life, yes.
Not easy. Not easy for sure. Was it more on building yourself? Did you take it as building yourself in a way?
No, I mean, as I said, after that experience with this, so this came, the 16 years past the year I did in Belgrade, in Serbia.
Yeah.
So first I did that as a sort of prepare me to possibly play professionally, because what happens is when you play as a foreigner in Italy, you have to go ready. You're not one of the team. You are the one of the more important players. You have to be the determining factor.
Which is the best? Is it Italy A or Serbia A?
At the time, Italy A, because there are a lot more teams. So whereas Partizan were top, it's because they had most of the
Prospects, exactly.
most of the prospects and most of the Serbian national team. But that was one team, and there weren't as many teams. So at the time, and I think still to the day, but more at the time, Italy was the top league.
And you played consistently, because I didn't ask you this, in Serbia?
I
Did it
played.
turn out?
So what I formed part of the senior team, part of the first squad, which was a 15-player squad, and 13 would be selected on the day. So I'd travel with them, do the training camps, do everything. But the problem is that they had a rule that only one foreigner per team could play in the league, and it was already taken by someone who was
Better
was
than
needed more. Yes, I mean, he was an American, Ryan Bailey at the time. So I played in they used to call student team, which was the second team. Now, funnily enough, from that second team, there are 2 Olympic champions. So you can imagine. So in the first team, there were about 9 Olympic champions. And 2 of them trickled into this second team. So I played, so it was an experience in itself. But it was preparation more than anything. It was game time. It was bulking up physically. It was, preparing myself to live alone, because I wouldn't be given that same chance and leniency. Once I'm in Serie A, I've signed a professional contract, I'm being paid monthly, they provide everything, expectations are a lot higher. So it was sort of a stepping stone towards that. So I got to Italy, but Italy was easier. I knew the language, I knew the culture, I always, like when I decided I want to do this, I want to play in Italy. It was together. And I stuck it out, and yes.
How did the transfer happen?
Again, it was always through the same person, through this Vujasinović, who he himself played in Italy with Recco, who was the top side. He had a teammate of him, his teammate, who was a very good friend of his, joined Boljasco, and sort of told him, listen, do you know of any possible Serbian, possible whoever, we need a young player who comes with a lot of energy, do you know of anyone? And he could have recommended anyone. I mean, he could have recommended a young co-national. But instead he gave me this opportunity, and I'd like to think I didn't let him down. So I don't think I did. So.
What if he's watching it right now? What would you say?
To him?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think I've had the opportunity. I haven't had many opportunities to meet him again, occasionally. I think the last time I met him in person was in 2016 when I won.
Exactly.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that soon, actually.
No, I think he was very similar in the sense he wouldn't want compliments, he wouldn't, very similar in that sense. But obviously, if I had the opportunity, hopefully I'm going in January and we're going to play again in Belgrade. Hopefully I meet him again. And now as an adult say, listen, thank you very much. And it's, you were that important
step
next
to my
step.
life. Yeah, next step to my life. You mentioned a good point. 2016. European Championships, you ended up top scorer now. So you were from the 19s you were third. Then in 2007 you were third again in European B, and now you were top scorer with 21 goals. Achievement?
No, very much.
Again.
So
it was I asked you if it was an achievement.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yes. No.
Achievement.
No.
Okay.
It was.
Okay.
No. But what I want to get to is yes, because I don't consider myself.
That's why I asked you.
A selfish player in the sense, yeah, very much of an achievement. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, absolutely, one of my most important achievements. But what makes it extra special is that it was our first time competing at European A. So it was the first time we got to European A.
Yeah.
And again, it was in Belgrade. So it was where I started, where I decided I'm going to do this. So it was like a full circle, So
I don't want to ask this question now.
Okay.
As you said, in January, the team will be competing in top 16
again
European Championships. And it's in Belgrade again. Could it be the last time?
It could well possibly be the last time. I'm 38 years old. And yes, I mean, we're saying I'd be 40 at the next. I mean, never say never. Because quite honestly, at my age, I take day by day and almost training session by training session. So to look past January is difficult. But you never know. See how it goes.
That's how it goes. Actually, you put Malta. I know it's a team effort, but with we're talking together now. 21 goals is not easy in the top A situation championships. Possibly put Malta on the mark.
Possibly. No, I'd like to think if anything, my career prior to that and my career, that was an important, yes. I think it was not just a personal award, but it was also an award to the whole association. I think I'm quite sure they were very proud to have their own, a member of the team at that stage. So yes, I think it was an award for everyone. I hope someone got, I hope everyone got something out of it.
I opened up earlier by stating that 90% of people who, if you give them your life currently, in your tough times, they would decline. But I want to go back to another question that I wrote down here. People say the medals, not the moments in between. Okay? The toughest days are the toughest moments in your career, probably. And in your life, possibly. Was it ever testing you quitting?
Quitting, doubting. More than quitting, there were doubts in the sense. Now, as I said, I'm my worst critic. So every bad game, especially now that I'm older, why am I still doing this? Let's call it a day. I've had enough. So yes. So I'd say more, it happens quite often, but then it dies off and Monday you're back in the pool. I would say there was a period where I considered retiring more than stopping because this was which was post the year of COVID.
Okay, quite far away.
Uh,
4 years ago?
It was 2000, early 2000, 5.5 years ago. So I was playing in Rome at the time, having a great season, one of my best at the time. I think I was at my peak, just had my second child, my second boy, so I was on a high. We get to the European Championships that were in Budapest, which was January of 2020. I start off well, and now looking back, I know exactly what it was. I got unwell.
Which unwell?
It was 2020. Now I have no way of knowing it, but during the competition, I got like a very, very bad flu. And I had a down within the actual competition. I had sort of a setback, a clear drop in form. And so the tournament wasn't of the best, wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be. I go back playing in Italy. I'm still a bit unwell, still struggling to get my shape back, and everything gets called off for COVID. So there I questioned, I said, possibly, could it have been that I had, because it made no sense. So there was that tournament with the national team. League gets called off in Italy. I was having the greatest, the best season I had had so far. And then from there, there were countless struggles. So with regards to being paid in Italy, there were, it was a back and forth, because obviously whereas playing in Rome, their main source of income was they managed pools.
Okay.
So the fact that there was COVID, everything's closed, besides all the struggles. Now I'm speaking on a personal level, there were people that went through a lot worse. But, so, my salary became an issue. We came to Malta, there were all the restrictions, we don't know if the competition, the league was going to take place, yes, no, back and forth, yes, but at a later date. Now, since this later date was pushed forward, it went on to and clashed with this next season in Italy. So there was a lot of this, and it was, I was at the time, so we're talking I was 33 years old. I said, listen, could this be a sign, is this at the right moment to just say, you've done so much, I was 13 years living away. Should I just stop here? This might be a sign, So that is where I really said, listen, and considered it. But then I sort of, kept going. Let's see how it goes. Let's try. So I went on to A2 because they start later.
A2 is the second division
in Italy, because they start later. So we did actually play the summer league here, later date. So the A1 I couldn't join. So I joined the A2. I'll see how it goes. I struggled, because I did struggle. Because that whole year, I was 33. I was not old, but you're at the latter stage of your career. To do 6 months not training at the best, gym was out of the question. Swimming, you're very limited because time slots were reduced.
Open sea, right?
At the beginning it was open sea. Then in the summer they allowed small groups. So training was ridiculous. And then as well, in that same season, we did okay. We got to the semi-final stage and we won. It was a playoff series. This is Malta Summer League. And one of my teammates was positive to COVID. Now what happened there was, so between the semi-finals and the finals, which were 10 days, there were 10 days between the two, we all got put into quarantine.
14 days.
That was 10 days, I think. I'm not quite
14.
sure. It was 14 at the time.
14.
It could be 14, because then they... So we had to do. So imagine, you've just won. You've just made it to do. Things are looking more positive. At least, I'm going to compete. And you get stuck with this. And I did 14 days alone in an apartment. I left my family because we had a young child. I had 2 young children. So I did it completely alone for 14 days. And I had to play the final after this. So imagine, I've had all this preparation. I go 14 days in quarantine, in lockdown, whatever you want to call it. And then they gave us a 2-day window to sort of regain some sort of and play the final. which was completely ridiculous.
And what was the outcome of it?
We lost, clearly. I mean, had someone asked me, listen, you want to play? No, let's settle it here. You want fair and square. Let's not even bother. Because, I mean, so again.
Imagine you won, though. Imagine you won.
No, but there's no way.
Well,
Imagine we won.
Good,
yes. But again, that was another setback, another drawback where you say, listen, man, what the? Because imagine those 14 days, these issues and thoughts are going through my head. Listen, man, I don't know. There's someone telling you, listen, throwing you,
exactly.
all these obstacles purposely to sort. But anyway, no.
You kept going. I kept going till now.
I kept going till playing abroad till 2022,
I think.
20. We are 25, 24.
24. Yes.
Yep.
Who were your last two clubs?
My last two clubs. My very last club was the Aker Bologna.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Okay.
Which again, we had a very, very good season. We made top 6.
Which was for the club.
For the club, it was the most. And now I think last year they equaled it or bettered it or came 5th. But up until that point, they were a relatively new club. And the year before, they had just made it through playouts. So it was a big jump, and we made Europe. And yes, and before that, I played with Nuoto Catania.
Okay. Which is first league as well?
Which was first league as well.
So you ended on a good note?
No, I ended on the note I would have hoped. So I always said, like, if I'm going to retire and when I'm going to retire, I want it to be at a certain high standard. I'm not going to drag it out. I don't want to make a fool of myself. I don't want to sort of tarnish what I have done in the past.
Yeah, makes sense. You've captained Malta several occasions.
Mm-hmm.
You've led Neptunes to win 11 leagues in
Mm-hmm.
16 seasons. My bad, 16 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Now leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You've been with Neptunes, you can say, in the squad of Neptunes since 15, and now you've led
Mm-hmm.
to a retirement stage with
Mm-hmm.
Neptunes, so you know what goes on behind the scenes, who the people are, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You were never a leader. In a way of, you can't be the leader of 15.
No.
Leader, you know?
No.
So
no.
you
I
experienced
didn't even
both.
have the maturity to be a leader, like we said. So no.
Exactly. So you experience both.
Mm-hmm.
What does leadership actually mean to you in a way that now you know what a 15-year-old mind thinks and you can help him through the situation?
Yes. I mean, times have changed in the sense that 15-year-olds at that time are not the same as the 15-year-olds nowadays. I think.
In what way, if I may ask?
I think today they're a bit more. They already think they're adults. I knew I was a 15-year-old kid.
Okay.
I think nowadays they think they're 15-year-old adults.
Okay.
And their expectations are very high.
Which is good or bad?
I think it's bad in the sense that your expectations, your ego can't sort of be over and above what your actual output is, in the sense that if I'm giving so much, my expectations can't be so much more.
Makes sense, okay.
And because then it becomes frustrating to you and the people around you. If you have this, you're walking around with this ego and you're not delivering on the day, you're going to butt heads, especially with the older ones who come from a different generation. But going back to your question regarding leadership, I think there are different shapes and forms. It depends who you have in front of you. So I've always been, I would like to think, a leader that leads by example rather than encouraging words and these, So I would set the tone, set the example, show that I'm giving my effort, showing up on time, and try have them feed off that. But, as we've said, nowadays it's a bit harder. Nowadays you have to comfort them a bit more. You have to be like an older brother, more than anything. You can't be a father figure, you can't demand.
That shit won't work.
It won't work at all. It will backfire. It's really, I can't, and again, I cannot be that father figure. I cannot be, they have that at home. Now what is being said at home, I don't know. I can't tell them one thing, and at home they're being, told something completely different.
What is hard about a leader is
adaptation. That's the hardest thing.
Yes, but you have your own career to lead.
And you have to put it aside. Your ego has to be put completely aside. So if you're speaking to someone who thinks he's the next best thing, and I can't go and tell him, listen, I've done so much, I've won so much. Shut your mouth and listen. No, you have to put that aside and try to say, listen, I can see that there's potential in you, but you're burning too many bridges too soon. You know, if I were you, I'd try doing it this way. I wouldn't even say do it this way. Try doing it this way. Let's see how it goes. If it works for you, it works for everyone around you. If not, we'll think of another solution.
Along the years,
Mm-hmm.
success is defined differently.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we think success is with regards to health, finance, achievements,
Mm-hmm.
milestones, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, what does success mean to you?
Peace of mind. I would say success is peace of mind. I mean, not having a guilty conscience, understanding that whatever I've achieved through my own hard work. I didn't cut any corners. I didn't ask for any favors. My defeats were my defeats, and my wins were my wins. Of course, there's the support, but I wasn't standing on anyone else's shoulders.
Currently, sorry.
No, that's it.
Currently,
Mm-hmm.
is it building a family that could be a big milestone to you say, listen, I succeeded in this?
I mean, providing. I mean, yes, having a family and providing and making sure that you instill your values into them. Yes, that is a success story. Again, nowadays times are a lot tougher. There are a lot more challenges, and there are a lot more, things where loose ends, so to speak. Things are a lot more difficult nowadays. So if keeping a family grounded, yes, that's some form of success. It is.
17-year-old Stevie,
Mm-hmm.
what was his definition to success?
No, a lot different, of course. I mean, then it's all about your ego. There it's more proving, although it was always proving to myself, you still want to show it to others. It's, a question of ego. You want to win as much as you can. Or even with regards to money, the latest shoes, the very immature things. So yes, the definition to success has nothing. My definition of success then is nothing in comparison. I mean, they have.
Was it
nothing
more
to do with
financially, if I may ask?
nowadays?
No.
Or then?
Then.
Then it was all about down to ego, all the superficiality. Everything that you think comes with success. More money, more wins, more attention, your ego, boosting your ego. It's all about boosting your ego. As you get older, you understand that your ego is the selfish part of you. And especially so then when you have two young kids, a family at home, I mean, that has to be completely pushed aside. You're there setting the example, you want to give them the best example. So if I'm acting selfish, they're feeding off that.
Now, this is a question
Mm-hmm.
before I will go into the quick fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really ask people this question. I think you have to give that a bit of a thought.
Okay.
What's meaning of life to you currently?
Mm-hmm. Meaning of life currently, I mean, my priority are my kids. I mean, my main responsibility are my kids. Then I have my profession, which is water polo. I also coach. I have my coaching. I have my school, as we mentioned. But that is can never override the importance of being the provider at home, the father of two young children. So I would say that main focus is definitely my children.
So that's your main focus.
Right now, yes, of course.
Quick fire questions. Okay. Are you late? Do you understand what goes on in the quick fire questions? Or do I have to explain in a short amount of time?
No, I think I've understood. I have to give a quick answer to a quick question.
Exactly. Very good. So I have 7 questions today. And let's go with number 1.
Okay.
What would you tell your 15-year-old self before your first big match?
My 15-year-old self was so arrogant that he wouldn't listen to anyone.
Wouldn't listen?
No.
He changed a lot.
He has changed a lot.
What do you tell him right now?
What would I tell him right
Yeah.
now? I'd probably smack him.
Smack
we
him?
wouldn't get along. I would probably the young ones I'd like least, and no, there wouldn't be much of a conversation. I don't think.
Okay. Good one. This is good. Biggest what was I thinking moment in your career?
Possibly that story we mentioned when I'm walking home at 3 a.m, with a burger. No, I'm joking. No, I don't really don't have I honestly don't have any regrets or moments, or because I think they fed on to something else.
Something
From
bigger.
that setback, something positive came. So no.
A match or training moment that still makes you laugh till today.
We mentioned during a conversation when we met for the first time over a coffee. I mean, I saw one of your guests was Leiden.
Okay.
And I remember my first encounter with him. So he supports sort of the derby. So the other team.
Okay.
It was a game. I think we lost. I'm quite sure we lost. So I was upset. I was in my own world, my own bubble. And I remember walking to the bus, to the coach, to get back to our club. And while walking, I hear someone shout something like, good game. And I said, good game. He's sort of, it's not on. It's taking the piss. I mean, I didn't have a good game. We lost. So I kept on walking, and obviously the cars sort of piled up, and he got stuck. And I didn't recognize the car, so I said, "This must be someone I don't know that's taking the piss." So I shoved my head in, and I said, "What do you want? What did you tell me?" Like, obviously, not those words, but. So there was like, no, I'm serious. You had a good game. And then they pulled me out. But the thing is, when they pulled me out, I didn't reckon it was dark. It was night. I didn't recognize him at all. But when they pulled me out, and I calmed down a bit, one of my teammates sort of told me, "Listen, you realize, that person, who it was." I told him, "No. I mean, he's a boxer." I told them, "Listen, the next time you see me doing something stupid like that, you don't pull me out after. You don't let I can't stick my head into a car of a boxer." But anyway, luckily nothing happened. I mean, so.
Like, great guy. Very good guy. Very good boxer too. So you'd have.
I'm not much into boxing, but yes, I mean, I can see that he's doing very well for himself, and I can see that it's out of passion more than anything else, so that I can appreciate.
For sure. Okay, that was good. Okay, funniest or wildest story from your time abroad, during a locker room moment or travel edition?
I'll give you, we mentioned it before, because it's possible, it's not even the wildest. I can't mention the wildest. The wildest are probably, locked away in a safe. I'll be bringing up, so no. What I can mention is possibly, so every time there's a debutant, so to speak, in the national team, you're put under, the usual, they play, you're the joke of the tournament, you're picked on, you're targeted and all that.
Do they shave their heads too?
There is that, there's others, there's
Which
other
are?
body
Fine
parts. No.
Okay.
No, we'll avoid all that.
Okay.
But we'll stick. So leading up to this tournament we mentioned before, I had one of the older teammates in my club telling me, "Listen, now when we go abroad, you're in for it, because again, I was the 16-year-old, the pain in the ass. So you're going to get your payback now when you're abroad, no parents around, you're going to get." So weeks of this leading up to it. So I went all, the arrogant person I was back then, the arrogant boy I was back then. I said, "Listen, I'm going to flip it round, and I'm going to target him."
Oh no.
So I remember on the flight there, I'll mention the first of many, but I'll mention the flight there. It's an early morning flight, everyone's knocked out. I say, "Let me play something stupid." So he was seated a couple of seats behind me. I said, "Let me fill his bag up with anything I can find." We were going to Slovenia. So everyone's knocked out, early morning flight. I'm 15, my first experience, I'm wide awake. So I'm grabbing everything, all the pillows they had. It was a long flight, so all the pillows, all the quilts, I shoved them all, and shoving in his bag. And I sort of, the flight got on, whatever, we landed, and I sort of said, let me see how, I wanted to stay close to him, to see how he reacts, catch the, and I'm saying, and he's not reacting, he's not realizing. And we get to the inside of the airport, and I see the soldiers, like the guards, but there it was Slovenia. In Malta you don't see it, but there. And they sort of, I'm a bit away, and they sort of choose him, random controls, they choose him. And I'm already thinking they're going to go through his back. So I slow my pace to gather everything, and I see him they start pillow. They look at him. And they look at him, and he had no idea. Imagine coming out of a 3-hour flight, 4-hour flight, completely knocked out after a sleep. And I think at first he was questioning whether it was his bag or not. And then I had to keep my reactions. And I didn't react at all, and I didn't tell anyone
So
that it was me. So no. But
so you're saying it now?
I'm possibly saying it now, but he was older than me. He's been retired. I haven't seen him in an age. So.
My God. And what happened after that?
No, they were just every day I'd do something.
They laughed.
I didn't tell anyone.
Ah.
No, it became a bit too serious than I would have liked. I would have expected him to take out the things, funny, who was it,
exactly.
me, But no, it was, after a 4-hour flight, he had to stay there with these,
Shit.
So it became something I didn't want it to become, and I never told anyone.
Good one, alright. Okay, this is good. One ritual or superstition you still do before a game?
I won't say them all. I'm still active, so I don't want to jinx them. One thing I do, which is not, I don't play in the same costume I train. So for training, I wear a costume. For games, I wear a
Okay.
Even though it's the same exact costume,
Yeah.
the same, they're different ones, newer.
Okay. Makes sense. So you feel like you're ready for something new.
Exactly.
Last one.
Okay.
A teammate or mentor
Mm-hmm.
who taught you something you'll never forget.
Oh, I would say. I mean, it wasn't a life lesson, but one of the first games I played in Italy, so it was my first experience playing abroad as a professional, having to be the protagonist. And I'm 20, 21. It was hard. I didn't have a great game. My first game wasn't a great game, but fun enough, something I didn't mention before, leading up to that, so in between Belgrade and my first year playing in Italy, during the summer, I break my hand.
Ah, okay.
I break my hand, and I do practically 2 months. I broke here, and I had a cast still here. So there was nothing I could do. So imagine what I thought I had gained in Serbia, I'm losing now, and now I'm going to play abroad. But again, I didn't take it. Being naive, arrogant, call it whatever, I didn't take it. I can do it, no problem, I'll train. So I get there, I get to Italy year one with like 4 or 5 days of being in the water, not even training, because it's not, once you come out of a cast, you don't have full use of your arm.
Yeah.
But I get into the water, and I get into the pre-season. And we're doing gym work, and imagine I had no strength. Looking back, it's crazy, but I had no strength in my arm, and I was slowly trying to hide it and trying to gain. Anyway, cut a long story short, a couple of weeks after, we have Coppa Italia at group, and this is my first game. But I didn't give myself that excuse. I didn't say, listen, I've just come out of this injury. I just looked at it, I have to perform. I didn't have a great game. And after the game, there was one of the more experienced players. I told him, listen, for once in my life, probably one of the first times I put my ego aside. I sorry, I let the team down, but I will do better. He told me, no. I mean, don't say sorry. You are here to give your maximum effort. Make sure it's that way from the second game on. And that's something that stuck with me. So every time, and going back to something we mentioned before, every time I want to give as best effort I can. It might not be my best game, but I'm putting in the effort.
Let's go to the journal.
Okay.
So the journal is a question for our latest guest, Sam Urpani. He left you a question. He didn't know you were coming. It's a mystery question. Okay? And you will do the same to the next guest.
All right.
1 second. Okay. So. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bit, can you say, strange to ask you.
Oh, okay.
Because of obviously what you've gone through, and you're close
To the end.
To the end.
So this is possibly something more.
You'll get me when I ask you.
Okay.
What is one thing you are dealing with right now that's holding you back from achieving your goals?
I think we'd have to adapt it in the sense that
Exactly.
right now, the phase I'm going through right now, which is normal, is you're coming towards the end of your playing career, and you have to start thinking about the next. So whereas a normal profession or occupation, you're sort of always going, you're always growing in stature. I've already reached my peak, I'm on the downhill, and now I have to start climbing again. So that is the path, I'm on to right now. There's nothing stopping me. I still plan on playing for a while longer. But my struggle, if you want to call it a struggle, is finding something that I can be just as committed to and just as passionate about. Because that is the thing about sport.
Yeah.
That you give your full effort because you're fully invested. And I want to find something that's on the same lines.
Makes sense.
So I know we're coming to the end. We've said a lot. I got something with me that is important because it is a good chunk of my career.
Okay.
It is something, not this, but metaphorically, what it represents is being one of the most rewarding. I mean, I don't think when it comes to sport, there is anything more rewarding than playing and representing your national team.
Okay.
This was won very recently in the last qualifiers, where we did particularly well, and which led us on to qualifying for this winter's European Championships.
Super nice, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Love these, huh?
Yes.
Like Christmas. Every single guest.
I'm glad it's appreciated.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Work hard, play harder. Okay.
I see.
Last question of the entire episode. I asked this question to the latest guests.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's relatable. Each one says the same thing.
Okay.
Are you happy?
Am I happy? Again, it's a hard question because, happiness means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I think with sport it's hard to be happy in the sense being a competitor, you're constantly looking for the next challenge, the next win. So you win, you're already thinking about the next one. And that's something that I'm trying to improve on and learn how to slow down and appreciate.
Can I make one suggestion? From what I heard your story and how you're speaking about yourself, how you believe in yourself, but you want to keep it on a low.
Okay.
I think you're more content than happy.
Exactly. No, that's okay.
I think it makes more sense to your story.
Yes, I think because happiness is very volatile in the sense, but content is a state. Yes, I would say I'm content. I've given it my all. It has given me a lot in return. And I think now I'm starting to realize that I would like to pass that on. So yes, I would say I'm content more than happy.
Stevie, we spoke for a couple, you can say, I think an hour. Was it an hour?
No, I think a bit
possibly
more.
an hour. And
Quite.
you said a bit of your story, because we could go on for hours if you come to speak about your story. But I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you
cool
for having me.
episode. I think 24th episode, 23. So
No, I appreciate being here. I'm very thankful you reached out.
thank you.
I like seeing people who are passionate about what they do. This in particular, because it is sport, so it represents me as well. I feel I form part of the same ecosystem.
Yes.
So, very happy to have been here. Hope to have given something that
Some knowledge.
could possibly find useful.
Exactly.
And possibly decide to use it or listen, it's not, and let's go the opposite direction. But at least it's an indication of something.
Thank you so much for coming. Any last words to the audience?
Nothing. Keep striving, keep pushing, and don't listen to others, and don't let anything they have to say or do limit your actions.
Super. So before ending this, I would like to say that on our website, www.teamchampionsconnect.com, Steve will have his own segment over there. The story about what was said in the podcast and who he is. Apart from that, kindly subscribe. It's the button below. Like, comment. Let us know who you want to see next about this episode. And yes, if they like the episode, they have to like. What do you think?
I think there's no other way.
So subscribe.
It doesn't take much. I don't know. I can't
Free
understand
button.
why.
It's a free button.
It doesn't cost anything.
Exactly.
Does it?
No.
That's all.
Nothing. Zero.
No excuses.
Zero. So kindly subscribe. Third time. And as always, Champions Connect out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.